All right. Here's Reverend Kenn Blanchard of the Unnamed Church podcast. We're in the back, and we're going to be talking about 10 reasons about love, or 10 things about love, that I want you to remember. There are 10 scriptures. You might have to grab a pen or a pencil to write some of this down. They're not going to be real deep, but we're just going to cover them real fast. And it's all about love today. Hopefully you're doing all right. You'll find out more about the Unnamed Church podcast at blanchardchapel.us. That's the website, and thank you for being a part of this ministry. We're going to talk about love, all right? Love starts off with Romans 5:8. But God commanded his love toward us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Never forget that. Now, number one, God loved us first. 1 John 4:9 through 10. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. This is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins. Man, it's getting dark out here. Number two, he loved us first, part 2. 1 John 4:19. He loved us because he first loved us. Number 3, love your enemies. Luke 6:35. But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High, because he is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Number 4 of our love scriptures, the golden rule. Luke 6:31. Do to others as you would have them do to you. It's all about love. Number 5, the greatest of love. This is the one I always end up quoting at weddings. 1 Corinthians 13:13. And now these 3 remain, faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. Number 6, above all. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. Remember, I'm saying all this so that you can write this down. If you want some love scriptures, you want to remember that love is important, you got to do this. You ready for number 7? Love drives out fear. 1 John 4:18. There's no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. Remember that. Number 8, one of my favorites, love your wife. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Number 9, love bind with perfect unity. Colossians 3:14. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. No matter how you wrap it, if you don't add love to it, it's not going to work. And finally, number 10, remember that love comes from God. Oh, the bugs are getting me. 1 John 4:17. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as you have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. And don't forget, there's like just 2 big scriptures. Love God and love others. Everything flows out of those 2 commandments. God's love is developed so fully that you'll see that it's relational. Everything we do is relational. It's a self-sacrificing love. God is compared to a lover whose spouse has been unfaithful, as in people are the unfaithful ones to God, us. While we were sinners, Christ died for us. And so God has made the first most costly move to a relationship with us. Can't beat that with a stick. And if you learn anything from our history, we are adept at creating our own religions and ways of worshiping God. We tack on guilt, extra sacrifices, and come up with a list of reasons why we are unworthy of God's love. That's not in the book. We're not the first to do it, though. Remember, the Egyptians came through 400 years, or the Israelites came through Egypt for 400 years with all manner of idols. So we were built to worship. Remember that. When we don't have something, we'll make it up. And when we have nothing, we'll worship ourselves. Remember that God has already loved us, desiring that no one should be separated from him. So will you meet him where he is? Because he's already past the halfway point. He's come to you. Remember, he loved us first. 1 John 4:9-10. I'm Reverend Kenn Blanchard, and thank you for watching the Unnamed Church podcast. And before the bugs eat me up, I want to wish you farewell. God bless.